So go back again, right? Y equals mx plus b, right? That's our formula. All right, so our problem in this case was, let's do it in a different color. All right, our problem was x minus 2y equals 6. Right, now this is what I was saying earlier. Anything you do on this side, you have to do to this side. So your teacher taught you to get your x or your 2y on your x or your y on one side, right? So let's start this way. Let's start with getting let's get y on one side, right? So this 2y, right? I can't subtract this because it's together. This is multiplication. This really says 2 times y. So I have x minus 2 times y. So imaginary 1 here, right? Imaginary 1 here. So that's 1 times x, right? So we have 1 times x minus 2 times y, right? These have to be treated separately because of this right here, right? Because of this minus. All right. So if I want to get this, right? This, so it's an imaginary plus here too, right? So if I want to get this onto the other side, what I was saying earlier, right? I'll take a minus 1x and then a minus 1x on this side, right? And that leaves me with minus 2y equals, right, 6 minus imaginary 1x, right? But if I write this in normal form without the imaginary stuff, right, then it's just negative 2y equals 6 minus x. So what I want to do now is get, because I have this together now as a multiplication problem, right? 2 times y, or 2y equals 6 minus x. So right, this is 6 still minus that imaginary 1 up here, 1 times x. Right, so imagine, right, 1 times x is multiplied here, right? Same thing as multiplied here, 2 times y. So if I want to get rid of this 2 on this side, right, what I'll do, let's go over here. Well, do it right here, change colors. Thank you. Alright, so what I want to do is divide by, I'm going to divide by, alright, just divide by 2, right? Divide by 2 on this side, and divide by 2 on this side. Alright, now if you remember your distributive property, right, this is really 2 under here and 2 under here, right? So that leaves me with what? Negative y equals 6 over 2 minus x over 2, right? And that's still, my imaginary 1 is here, right? So if I take this outside, switch it around, right? If I want to turn this into a positive, just what? Multiply it by negative 1. But if I multiply this side by negative 1, right, times negative 1. Let's bring this up here. Right, times negative 1. So that's negative 1 times negative y. Right, so it's just negative 1. Negative and a negative gives me a positive. Right, remember that? So that just gives me y. Right, y equals, I have to do the same thing to this side, right? Negative 1 times 6 over 2 minus negative 1 times x over 2, right? So what does that do? That switches, right? So that gives me my negative 1 I had to multiply negative. That's a negative 1 right here, right? Negative 1. Right, so that gives me negative 6 over 2, right? Negative 1, negative, negative here, turns that into a positive, plus 1 half x, right? Because that's what this says, right? 1 half times x, 1 half times x, right? 1 over 2 times x. All right, so that leaves me with, let's go up here, right? Y equals, actually I gotta switch this around too, right? 3 plus 1 half x. So if I put that in this format here, right, now I should get y equals 1 half x plus 3. And my y in this case, my slope in this case is 1 half, right, because of this. So bottom line, to solve this, we get into this problem here, right? This equation, y equals mx plus b. All right, and going back over here, this was our problem, right? We got we got x over to the other side. All right, starting up here, we got x over to the other side by subtracting x. All right, so we can just take the imaginary one off, right? You can just subtract x, right? Subtract x from this side, you subtract x from this side, right? And you get 2y minus 2y equals 6 minus 1x, right? And actually, it could have been, to make it simpler, right? That could have been written this way, right? That could have been written negative 2y equals negative 1x plus 6, right? That probably would have made it easier, right? Because it's already in this format. But as you saw, right, all we do is just switch this around like we did over here, and it's the same thing. Got it?